What are you sick of explaining? The difference between type 1 and type 2 diabetes, and that I was born with it and didn't get it from eating sugar. And for me, that there are more than 2 types of diabetes. I heard of diabetes insipidus, definitely spelt it wrong. The one where you can't produce ADH, but are there any more than that? T1, autoimmune. T2, insulin resistance. 3A, related to Alzheimer's. 3C, removal of / trauma to pancreas. Ladder, late onset T1. Some differences from regular T1. Gestational diabetes. MODY, maturity onset diabetes of the young, genetic. And probably a bunch more. Theoretically T3 has AH. But you never really hear about the others. Only A and C. I'm T3C. There aren't that many of us as it's quite a new diagnosis. But many older T1s might be reclassified as T3C these days, if they got there through E.g. pancreatitis. Thanks. Looks like I misunderstood what you meant by multiple types of diabetes. Sorry you had to explain it again. Allergies. E.g. against pollen or food. Pollen is flying around not only in summer and the symptoms are not always red eyes or sneezing. So just because you cannot see that someone is not feeling well, it still can be the case. Or food allergies and you are judged as being picky. Please just accept that some people cannot eat everything. Probably there are other allergies, and explaining at some point is just so tiresome. My brother doesn't sneeze or have watery eyes when his allergy season hits. He coughs. He, naturally, has a very loud and aggressive sounding cough. Trying to work in May this year was more than a little bit difficult. Oh man, I get this too. It's made this year really difficult. Thankfully my allergy meds work pretty well. Sadly, the job he was working at wouldn't let him work because it concerned his coworkers. Even though he had doctor's notes saying it wasn't COVID, it was allergies, and it couldn't spread. But he'd just recently got a job that not only pays him more, but he gets to work at home, since all he's doing is taking calls. I'm a programmer. I write programs. I do not know how to fix your laptop that won't turn on. You are lying. I saw the Mario Brothers movie. I know that gamers, hackers, programmers, and computer engineers are basically the same thing. If I may use your comment as a prompt, I find it fascinating how computers have evolved in the same way as the other math and science fields. It used to be, way back, that if you knew math, you were a scientist. The fields were both small enough that the overlap was vast. Over time, it grew apart, and you could specialize within fields. In the 1980s through the late 1990s, the computer field was small enough that the typical programmer would have to know basics in electrical engineering, math, physics. Networking as a field wasn't big enough to be its own specialization yet. The boom of the early 2000s and evolution since has caused so much specialization and diversification of skills that I would posit that computers as a field is as descriptive as saying you study science. That's really fascinating. I wonder how it will evolve more. Microtransition engineers. That Bluetooth does not use your mobile data. This has been explained countless times to my dad. And that the 5 GHz channel on my router isn't the same as 5G mobile data. I've given up on explaining this one. Look, they both have 5 and G in the name. They also make Five Guys burgers in their right. I wish my router made burgers. Someone needs to get on that. That those games on Facebook that ask you to tap on your birthday / month or whatever are harvesting your details to be used for not so innocent purposes. Can you give an example of one of these not so innocent purposes? Just to confirm I agree with you, but I'm interested as to the response. A lot of official websites require your birth date as part of resetting your password. Every time I forget my password to my student loan provider, the first thing they ask is for the last 4 of my SSN and my birthday. How I exist in Los Angeles without a driver's license / car. Nobody drives in LA. There's too much traffic. Please baby, no more traffic in LA. Hey baby, you forgot your A-buns. And my sheets still orange from your spray tan. Why I don't drink alcohol. I mean, I don't feel like I need to explain that one. But other people want me to. Is it really such a crime? Hate this. especially because I don't really have a reason for it. I simply don't want to. Same. Luckily most of my close friends are a bit older than me and are completely understanding about it. Unfortunately my flatmates are less understanding and think I have some sort of medical condition. I don't understand your flatmates' logic. I think it's just the mentality of 18-year-old college students that if you're not getting completely spanned every night there must be something wrong. TBHY I'm sober. I don't look like an alcoholic. I'm educated. I'm a girl. I wear glasses. Everyone thinks I'm the most innocent person they've ever met. I guess. IDK apparently all those things don't translate to alcoholic. And no one takes me seriously when I tell them I had a serious drinking problem. They think I just got involved in AA as a precaution or something. They tell me about their friends who are real alcoholics unlike me when they literally know nothing about my drinking. I've gotten into 3 drunk driving car accidents. I got a DUI when I was 18. And last time I relapsed I ended up being held against my will in a mental facility for 6 days after a suicide attempt because I drank for 3 months almost without stopping. So it's obviously a problem. I don't tell people this unless I'm helping someone in recovery, so I just let them have their weird idealized version of me and move on with my life. You sound like my older sister. She has the same situation. Honor student. Dean's List every year in college. Brainiac good girl with glasses. The whole 9 yards. And also an alcoholic. It doesn't mean you have to be a hairy old dude in a wife beater and an 8 o'clock shadow. Ha. Good imagery. It's true. I think that's the picture the average person has in their mind when they think alcoholic. They picture a man. Overweight. Unkempt and sloppy. They picture Barney Gumble. My OCD. I have actually serious, medically diagnosed OCD. I have certain habits that I feel I sometimes need to explain, but it's hard to convey to someone who doesn't have it. I have the same problem with ADHD. I have a very severe case. I've learned to cope with it quite well by my age. Before people jump in with their suggestions, one of the things that catches people's attention, even when I don't want it to, is what I call cooling off. If I get overstimulated, I intentionally distance myself from that stimulation for a little while to cool off. So if I'm at a party, I may go sit in my car by myself for 15 to 20 minutes. No, I'm not being antisocial. No, for the love of God, I don't want you to come with me. I just need to chill for a secretary, so I don't feel like I'm on an LSD trip. I have ADHD too. I do take meds for it, but I also have that problem with the parties. I call it too much prickles when I'm in a crowded space where people are loud. Our heads are just too full for that. Just leave us alone. My skin condition, it's psoriasis. It's autoimmune. But some asshole at a party always makes sure to make a joke about STDs when they see my marks. My skin is killing itself. Brenda, edit. I'm not surprised to see how many people can relate. Psoriasis is one of the most common incurable conditions. And a lot of people struggle with mental health because of this. I've been there too. And I hope all of you will be able to either keep or regain the confidence. I'm lucky to have my partner, the love of my life, who makes me feel loved and beautiful. Y'all are beautiful. F the rude assholes. My husband has inverse psoriasis, also known as arthritic psoriasis, is allergic to polyester and to the sun. I no longer bother explaining why we don't prefer going to the beach. I just tell people I suffered a horrible accident when I was a child and thank you for the invitation, but I can't even hear waves without feeling crushing despair. No one understands sun allergies. No one. OMG same. Everyone is always comparing tans in summer, and I'm quite happy being pale as a vampire and avoiding the sun pretty much from 10 in the morning to 5 at night. I didn't even know I had a sun allergy until I moved to the States. Never had this issue in the UK. Come on up to Seattle. We get some sun, but plenty of overcast days, a vibrant nightlife and a ton of goths. That I don't actually want to be in a relationship with someone. Same. Plenty of fish in the sea, my man. Well, I'm not fishing to begin with, too much risk for too little reward for me. Plenty of fish in the sea to eat me alive. Explaining what I'm allergic to. I'm allergic to a specific enzyme in fish. It changes when cooked. So I can eat sushi, but I'm deathly allergic to cooked fish. I hate explaining this, because people just think I'm making it up. My own mother is constantly trying to serve me cooked salmon, which has the highest amount of that, and just being around the oils gives me hives. Why does she feed you cooked salmon? She knows the best how bad it is for you. She doesn't believe most food allergies are real. My brother is also allergic to salmon, but she still cooked it every Friday growing up. She has some crazy ideas on health. I feel you. I'm allergic to poultry. So literally any bird or egg. Growing up my grandma would always say that I just didn't like it and refused to eat it, and people would always tease me about it. Like, thanks guys. Sorry my body made up its own mind that one entire type of animal isn't on the menu. Thanks for guilt tripping me into making me feel bad for it.